Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of Foreclosurepedia Podcast. Foreclosurepedia Podcast presentation of the Foreclosurepedia Radio Network, which premieres each Sunday evening at 2300 hours. As you know, we've been covering the latest in Carol Boyd's crime spree, in my opinion, crossing state lines, uttering the insufficient funds checks. We're getting ready here momentarily to interview a contractor and his family who have become homeless. The fiance of the contractor, originating out of Puerto Rico. This is a man, a woman, their child, homeless because Carol Boyd sent them direct deposit bad fund transfers, which did not initiate. And then when they finally received the checks, bounced twice. So the contractor ended up getting hit for money for doing what? For working and could not get paid. And so what are they now? What is their Christmas gift from Carol Boyd? Homelessness. Merry Christmas. This is horrific, ladies and gentlemen. It's horrific. Draconian. So let's get them on the line. Let's talk to these folks. And let's allow everybody out there to hear how members of the National Association of Mortgage Field Services, under the executive directorship of Eric Miller, who receives over $100,000 every year, 70% of contractor dues. Let's see how this member of the National Association of Mortgage Field Services, I love the MF in that, is treating contractors. So let's get them on the line. Hold on just a minute.
Hello.
Hey, good evening. This is Paul Williams. How you doing, ma'am?
Fine. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Is your you and your fiance or your husband, are you guys available to talk a little bit?
Yes.
Excellent. Are both of you aware of who I am and what I do? You know, the fact that I'm the editor-in-chief of Foreclosurepedia.org, and pretty much what I do is I write, on my website about horrific situations within the industry. I mean, you guys know who I am?
I know about you from Gretchen Bish.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That was and that's actually what broke open the story wide about Boyd property preservation. So I wanted to talk to you all a little bit tonight. Maybe you could introduce yourselves and tell me like who you are and the situation with Boyd and how it's impacted you, and hopefully what you're owed. And so hopefully we can bring some justice for y'all.
Oh, well, my name is Raquel Martinez, and my fiance's name is Kevin Quelan.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's been since, when was it, July? Since July, she was supposed to pay us. And she keeps saying...
When you say she, that's Carol Boyd?
Yes, Carol Boyd.
And that was for work that was done on foreclosed homes, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then what she did was she kept saying that she was going to pay. We talked to her personally, and she said, "Oh, I deposit the money." And I kept calling, and I was like, "Well, it's not there. Oh, it'll come through in your bank on Saturday or on." She would keep giving us different dates and times, and it would never show up. Then she would say that she wasn't there, and she transferred us to Sheila and Jerry Leonard. And that Jerry is like the most not nice person that you can meet. He doesn't know how to speak to you. He talks all rude. He even told Kevin that, "Oh, you're not going to get paid. Do whatever you want," because Kevin said he was going to go to report them because when they finally did deposit the money, the check bounced. So I had to get money from somewhere else to cover that, and they charged me fees and stuff. When you don't have the money to cover it, and we had spent the money, so I had to find money to put back in there because it bounced. That was the first time. Then she did it again, and it bounced again. And I was like, I can't believe that this lady keeps doing this. And then she just kept giving us the runaround, and still to today, we haven't got one penny.
These the work that you guys did for Boyd, can you tell me what state that was in?
Jacksonville, Florida.
It was in Florida. And do you know whether or not these were regular bank foreclosures, or do you know if these were like veterans VA properties?
You know, I'm not sure. I would have to.
For like the paperwork, did it say anything like VRM
Do you
or
have the papers that show the houses that we did? Does it say VRM on the property, or he's looking for the paper to check?
okay, excellent. And total, do you guys have a total of what you guys are owed, and then how much money those bounced checks cost you? Not what you spent, but I mean, because usually there's like, an overdraft fee or whatever.
They just charged me because I got money and I deposited on time, so I didn't get the bounced fees. And what I was just charged was like a return check fee. I think it was $15 each time.
Okay.
But as soon as I found out that was like that, I was like, there's no way I'm going to let this, because then I have to pay a lot more money. So I was like, I got money from under the rocks just to make sure I covered it.
Right. And I'd read the, excuse me, I'd read your initial email, and it had stated that you at least had lost your apartment, and you pretty much feel that's, or it was a direct result because you didn't have money that was owed to you by Boyd. Is that correct?
That's correct, because Kevin was counting on that money to pay the rent, and he couldn't cover his rent, so he lost it. He got evicted because of that.
Holy cow! Are you guys, because I'm well, it's not as cold down there, but I mean, are you guys okay right now? I mean,
my family helped me out, so we have a place to stay now. But
I wanted to make sure of that at least. Yeah. I mean, I'd have reached out to anybody I could, because that's horrific. Now, can you break down to me precisely what kind of services that like your work order was for? Was this like an initial service, a lawn care, or what did you do for Boyd?
Well, it was lawn care.
Okay.
And then we did inside cleaning of the house.
Okay.
And trash out, but we had to take all the trash that was inside the house and throw it away.
Right,
and
right.
We had to take it with us because they didn't want us to leave the trash in front of the house, like for the garbage men to come. No, we had to get a truck and fill it up and take it away to the dumpster. And what else did we do? It was basically that.
Okay. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, first of all, what I'm going to do when I'm done talking to you, I'm going to send you guys out an email, and it's going to have some people's names and phone numbers. And these are some of the people that you should reach out to and immediately begin to, in my own words, raise teetotal hell. And one of these people's names is Eric Miller. Eric Miller is the executive director of what is known as the National Association of Mortgage Field Services. Carol Boyd is a member of this organization, and they have a thing called the bylaws within this organization. And when people do things that are wrong, because NAMPS is a nonprofit organization, they're supposed to do something about it. So that'd be the first person. I'm going to give you all the contact information there, and I would reach out and say, hey, we went out and did what we were supposed to do, and not only were we not paid, but we were sent bad checks.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how it is in Florida, and I believe she's out of Georgia. Me, if I write a bad check and I write it to multiple people, and we know this has happened with Boyd, I'm going to be in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and that's the problem, that she's sitting pretty. Somebody called me, and they told me that she received money from I forgot where, it's not VA, it's another one, and that is like $4 million, and that she's gonna open up another in January. She's ready to open another company with a different name.
Wow. And we had actually heard that she was getting ready to be awarded what's called the Freddie Mac contract.
Well, that might be it.
It could be. I haven't verified that, but there's been about 6 people now whom have told me that. And there's a good chance that if enough people come forward, and first I want to stress I have 2 priorities in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My first priority is that you're a contractor who provided services to a member of the National Association of Mortgage Field Services, and you were defrauded. And so my first priority is to do everything within my power to get you paid. I don't get a dime for any of this. What it is, I'm a military veteran and, duty, honor, and country. When I went to war, I didn't go to war for the rich people. I didn't go to war for the poor people. I went to war for Americans.
Yeah.
And we're all supposed to abide by the same laws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then my second priority is people like Carol Boyd, I want to see in a penitentiary.
Yes.
I do not want them to enjoy the same, freedoms and rights that you and I and your husband do when we participate within the legal structure of society.
Yeah.
Have you guys reached out to your local district attorney's office?
That when we tried to, we were calling lawyers, and each lawyer kept saying was that since she's in Georgia, we have to go to Georgia.
But I mean, what I'm talking about is the district attorney. This is the person who charges people with crimes.
I didn't think about going to the DA.
Or your sheriff's office. And when you speak with the DA and when you speak with the sheriff's office, and I would highly recommend you do this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I would explain to them that this isn't a single issue. What we're talking about, and I will gladly provide all the information I have. We're talking quite a few people.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the Beaches alone, in their situation, and I will make sure I put you on to, there's a huge email list. There's about 20 people now. So here's 20 individual unique times that Boyd Property Preservation has paid people out with, insufficient fund checks. Now, like I say, once again, if I do it once, I'm going to jail. I would think that 20 plus times with tens of thousands of dollars, that's criminal. I don't know. So I would reach out to my DA. I'd reach out to my sheriff. The next thing that I would do is I would go on the internet or to my yellow pages and I'd find out who my senator is and who my congressperson is. And I would call their office and I would stress to them what has happened. And I would tell them that it's not just one case, that it's multiple cases. And you may also tell them that Senator Bob Corker, who is the senator of the state of Tennessee, is also investigating Carol Boyd and Boyd Property Preservation for defrauding contractors here in Tennessee. And that may give you, some good working leverage. I put all that together, because we got to bring justice to these people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna presume that you all still have your photos, the work orders, things of that nature.
Yes.
Excellent. Keep those under lock and key. Now, if you had to use, a lot of times, whether it's Easy Inspect or whatever, wherever the stuff's uploaded, you want to make sure that you have copies of anything that was uploaded anywhere. So don't just depend if it is in one of those sites that it's going to stay there. You got to get it downloaded and onto your, laptop or desktop or whatever.
Yeah. You said the senator's name was Bob what? Forker?
Corker, Corker.
Okay.
And you may also call their office up here in Tennessee as well. If you have a pen or pencil, your point of contact up here is going to be Rhonda Smithson. RHONDA SMITHSON.
Okay.
So when you call Senator Corker's office up here in Knoxville, Tennessee, that's who you'll ask for. You can tell her, Paul Williams recommended I call you, and she'll be very familiar with what is going on because, I'm trying to show this stuff is crossing state lines. This isn't an innocent mistake. And I'm real interested. I wanted to ask you about the Jerry Leonard situation. You know, Jerry Leonard is a member of the Masonic Lodge, and I am also a member of the Masonic Lodge. We're not a member of the same lodge, and he's also a Shriner there in Dalton, Georgia. And as Masons, our membership in these lodges are held to very, very high standards. And you stated that he was very rude with you all, and I was hoping maybe you could talk or maybe give me a little example or two of that, because I would personally like to see him removed or at least brought up on charges within the Masonic Lodge.
Because what happened was that Kevin kept calling every day and talking to him nice, trying to get him to give us the information and to deposit the money. And then one day, Kevin was upset and he told him, you know, when you're gonna deposit the money. And he got really upset when Kevin was asking him for the money. That he's like, Kevin was telling him, we're gonna have to go to a lawyer. We're gonna go to court. You know, you guys can't do this to us. And he's like, do whatever you want. You know what? You're not gonna get paid. We're not gonna send you no money. And Kevin came when he came to me to tell me what he said. Kevin is like, he was like white. I was like, I can't. He was in shock that Jerry was gonna talk. He didn't expect Jerry to tell him something like that.
And Jerry did pretty much say, well, now we're just not going to pay you simply because you folks were asking for your money.
Exactly.
I want to ask you a question, and I would like your honest opinion. And bearing in mind, you know, I'm a white guy up here in the mountains of East Tennessee. But what I do think that we have in the United States is that we have an enormous amount of racism.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys feel that any of this is racially based? And what I mean by that is, do you in any way think that perhaps Jerry or perhaps Carol, they heard perhaps your accent, or they thought, you know what, these aren't white people and they're not rich, so we can screw them?
That's what we were talking about one day, because Jerry was like making fun of him, because if you hear Kevin talk, Kevin has a very heavy accent.
Sure.
So
sure.
He was like like he was saying, "Oh, I don't understand you. Oh, I don't understand you," and he was saying it clear that you could understand, but I think he was like playing around with him.
When you guys applied to work with Boyd Property Preservation, did they continue to say, we can't understand you at that point in time?
Oh, Jerry does it all the time. He always tells him things, and Kevin says that every time he gets off, that he's racist just because I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
He doesn't want to pay me. I'm going to put him on so you can speak to him for a minute.
Sure,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Here he is.
Hello.
Hey, good evening, sir. How you doing, sir?
Good. Hey, did you record it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what? Jerry and Carol, they together, man. They together.
I fully understand that. I think you've read through my stuff, and you know that you know I'm going to do everything in my power to bring these people to justice. And myself personally, you know, like I was telling your missus, you know what? You know, I'm a military veteran, and in the eyes of the military, when I went to war, there's no rich, there's no poor, there's no black, there's no Hispanic. What there are is Americans. And what I am very incensed about, and what I believe, is that Carol Boyd and Jerry Leonard, in a racially motivated way, decided we're not going to pay these people because we figure they can't do anything to us. That's what I believe, honestly. I don't know about you, but I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too, man. But did I say they together? Because they go to lunch together. They do everything together. And I wanna talk to Jerry Leonard's wife, because he's cheating. He's cheating on her with Carol Boyd.
All right. And what would lead you to think that?
Because every time when I call, the lady that I talk, she like, oh, she went lunch, and I'm like, okay, can I talk to Jerry, oh, he was with her. Like, okay, every time, every single time.
It's it's a possibility. I'm not down there. What I do know is this. I know that you and your family have suffered tremendously, and I know I'm going to do everything in my power to A, get you folks paid, and B, at minimum, hopefully put Carol Boyd in a penitentiary, preferably a federal penitentiary for a very long time, and then C.
She needs to learn how to live in the street, man, because she don't know what is that. She don't know what is that. She needs to be in the street.
Right. She needs to be homeless. You know, and you know, with as many contractors now as Boyd Property Preservation is defrauded by sending out these checks that bounce that you can play basketball with. You know, like I was telling your missus, if I did that, I'd be in jail.
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm thinking too. If I do it, yeah, the police coming in here in a second. But how she can do it? How she can do that? And the police, man, I so mad. Man.
Yeah, look.
Put me on. He can't talk. He's so upset.
That's fine. Lo siento mucho, está malo, ¿verdad? Porque un gringo sabe español.
Un gringo que sabe español, dice, sabe español.
Oh, órale. But so here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to get off here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to get some emails started. I'm going to put you in the loop on the enormous emails. I'm going to get you some people when you get up tomorrow. You reach out to them. You say, hey, here's what's going on. And this is going to hit the internet probably in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And I guarantee you, in the same way that everybody else is beginning to be paid, we're going to get you folks paid. But additionally, what all the contractors need to do is to come together and to contact law enforcement and have them come in and shut this criminal enterprise down. It's nothing other than that. It's nothing more glamorous, in my opinion, other than a criminal enterprise.
Yeah. But I'm going to dedicate tomorrow I'm going to call everybody. I'm going to get the ball rolling.
Excellent. You know, I apologize once again, you know, for what has happened to you all. I'm sure that there's good companies out there. I've never found any, but you know, I guess you have to, you know, follow the good scripture. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm sickened is what I am. I'm sickened.
That's another thing. She always writes and talks about on her website and everything about God and everything. She doesn't even know who God is.
Oh yeah, you know, it's right on her. It's right on her website. She has that. I don't know if it's Philippians or whatever, but you know, we're gonna bring this thing to justice, and I'm not gonna tie y'all up. You know, I'll get this email out to y'all in about 15 minutes. I'll send you another email later on. It'll have a copy of this as well on it. That way, when you reach out, whether it's to law enforcement, make sure, darn sure, you reach out to your senator, congressperson, and also Senator Corker's office tomorrow. Cite it. Say, hey, all of our information is here in one spot. You know, and let's get you all paid. And let's bring these people to justice, huh?
That sounds good to me.
Hey, I appreciate your time. I'll send you an email out here momentarily, and my best to you and yours, ma'am.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening.
You too, ma'am. Bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess you can see right here precisely what is going on. This is another situation. Carol Boyd back on the loose. You can see here we have a Google Internet search on Carol Boyd fraud. You can see all the top ones. You see here Jerry Leonard, the Masonic Lodge member implicated. So we know precisely what's going on now. This is an individual who, with racial overtones, is making fun of Hispanics. Nothing more glamorous than that. This is racism, ladies and gentlemen. This is pure, unadulterated racism. It will not be tolerated on my watch. Not on my watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to bring this to an end. We need to come together. Actions like this pose a clear and present danger to the industry. Society will not tolerate this, nor will I. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to give me a shout out. COO@foreclosurepedia.org. We're on Twitter, Foreclosurepedia. Google, Foreclosurepedia. D. Paul Williams. LinkedIn, D. Paul Williams. Arguments cannot be broken on this podcast. We are right. That's how it is. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Foreclosurepedia podcast. God bless America and have a good evening.